Welcome to our review of the weekend after a very busy weekend in all sports across the region. Certainly we were very busy here this weekend on Midwest Radio Sport.
We were three live commentary games the weekend, and three great games, all entertaining, enthralling. One result going the way of Mayo, the hurlers yesterday doing the biz, but of course on Saturday night that double header in Castlebar. Well, we'll start off with the men's game, I suppose, firstly.
Yeah, I suppose we will start with that one. You were talking to Stephen Rochford after the game, and that interview is up on our YouTube and our Twitter and Facebook channels now, so if you want to have a look at that, we'll link to it at the end. But I suppose you put it to Stephen that it was an improved performance, and there certainly can't be any denying that after the previous couple of games.
Definitely improvement. No one can deny that. But I suppose disappointing in terms of those missed chances, real, scoreable frees that, on any other given day, those type of players, would put them over the bar. So, and when you consider the fact we got to within 4 points of that Dublin team that day, if that Adam Gallagher strike just at start of the restart, if that had gone to the back of the net, it could have been a different picture. And then look at who knows, it mightn't have been. Maybe Dublin would have just powered on. Who knows? But look at improvement, and that performance, I suppose, was needed looking ahead to Kildare, because I suppose after Galway, people were just left a bit kind of empty, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose you mentioned the freeze there, and that's something you brought up with Stephen as well. But when you consider Robbie Henley kicked one, put one wide. Jason Doherty had his troubles with them. Andy Moore took one on, put it just wide. But then Conor Loftus came on. And, you have to remember, Cillian O'Connor was missing. He had that suspension which ruled him out of the game. But Conor Loftus came on. He certainly has another option there now, and he's done himself no harm at all.
No harm, 3 from 3 from Conor in a short space of time, so no, he done very well, Conor. It's great to see him, because Conor is a confidence player, and this will do him the world of good, going forward as well. And it'll be great to see him get a start again for Kildare, because this type of stuff that young Conor needs. Other positives, have to say, Lee Keegan, Shamie O'Shea, come back into the fray as well. And as you said on the evening as well, that roar when Lee Keegan was announced to start from the Mayo faithful was phenomenal, really.
Yeah, it was, and there was no sign of ring rustiness at all from Lee, which you would expect. It's it really shows the competitor that he is, and how he's got himself back into great condition. Kicked a wonderful point in the first half as well, kept tabs on danger man Kieran Kilkenny, so it was great to see Lee back. Shamie, as you said, came right back into it, stood up to it. And while a lot of people are lamenting the fact that Mayo aren't hitting the big scores, and it's even something Stephen alluded to, you do have to say that Conor Loftus showed it last year against Derry. You mentioned previously that he was involved with the Sigerson this year, so that's why he wasn't as involved with Mayo early on in the league. But he's there. Kieran Tracy, from what we've hearing, is going very well in the league and could have featured the last night, but for a slight injury. So there are some positives come out of it, but it is a huge game now next Sunday. Next Sunday against Kildare and Newbridge.
Yeah, an absolutely massive game next Sunday in Newbridge, a game which incidentally is live here on Midwest Sport, again with thanks to Health West Community Pharmacy in Ballandine. I'll be on commentary for that one alongside David Brady. Myself and DB will be hoping for a big game for Mayo, against Kildare, because it's crucial. We don't want to, lose this game, and then you have Tyrone coming down on Paddy's weekend and Donegal at home in Ballybuffet. Holy mother of all things are sacred. They are two games you do not want to put all your eggs into one basket for.
Oh, certainly not. But I mean, they are three tough games. The four teams in the bottom half of the table: Mayo, Donegal, Tyrone, and Kildare. All we have.
Kildare will not fear Mayo one bit.
No, they won't. I remember I think it was 2013, the last time Mayo played in Newbridge. Paddy Brophy kicked a wonderful score in the closing stages to win that game. They're a very good young side. There's a backbone of that under 21 Leinster winning side from a few years back that are really mature now. And after Sunday's controversial defeat to Donegal, they'll want to show themselves that they're cut out for the Division 1 football. They've come out on the wrong side of most of the games this year, so they're not that far off, bar the second half against Dublin. They've really performed, so they'll certainly fancy their chances of causing an upset against Mayo and getting their first points on the board.
Elsewhere in Division 1, Galway is sitting pretty up there with Dublin at the top of their fine win over Kerry. The tribesmen looking good, and it's just all boiling up nicely in a nice pot of stew for the 13th of May in Castlebar, Mayo and Galway.
Yeah, I mean, look at last weekend's defeat to Galway, or was last weekend. It set Mayo back. It really pushed Galway on, and to go down to the Kingdom and get a win there is absolutely massive for them. As you said, it's all boiling along nicely. Eamon Brannigan's wonderful goal. He's been really to the fore for them. They've had a lot of good players. Sean O'Cally has been an absolute revelation. Again, look, there's so much going right for Galway at the moment. You would start to worry as a Mayo man. But look at, I mean, if we just have a look actually before we finish on the stats from at GA Statsman, he's on Twitter there. Some of the stats from Saturday night's game. Mayo really did hold their own against Dublin. Now we know Dublin weren't going at their absolute peak, but neither were Mayo really. So there's a lot of positives to take from it.
Yeah.
And while everyone will be keeping at least one eye on Galway, there are some positives to take from Mayo. You can look at the kickouts weren't ideal, but there's Dublin are one of the toughest teams to try and break down in terms of kickouts, and Mayo put enough pressure on their kickout as well. So there are positives there. If you look at those stats, Mayo really did put themselves level footing for most of that game with Dublin. So there's no need to panic just yet.
No, don't panic just yet, and we won't panic until the whole season is over. We won't get excited yet.
The other game there on Saturday evening was, of course, Mayo Ladies playing Dublin. It came out on the wrong side of that one, but again, there's a lot of positives and there's a lot of exciting young players coming through. I suppose two players that we talked about, Michelle Corbett and Mark Gilmore, talked about a lot in commentary, were the cornerbacks of Ellis Ronayne and Saoirse Ludden, who were up against two very seasoned performers in Noel Healy and Sinead Ahern, and really acquitted themselves very well, as did the whole Mayo side.
Oh yeah, great to see Peter Leahy putting great faith in those younger girls as well, who are really stepping up to the plate, because it's, I suppose, look, it's tough for the Mayo ladies. They're in this campaign without key players, the likes of Cora Staunton, the likes of Yvonne, just to mention a couple. But at the same time, it's great for Mayo to play without those type of players, where they can try out new things, because the day will come where you won't have your Coras and you won't have your Yvonnes. Yeah,
and obviously Martha Carter's another one there that's missing, but they really have. Sarah Rowe came back the last night. She had a couple of great points. She missed a few as well, and I know Sarah will be disappointed with herself, but look at she's only after coming back in and going to add another string to their bow. The two Kellys were absolutely sensational inside. Their movement is fantastic. The speed. There's a lot to be hopeful for. They have Monaghan next up, then they've Cork and Donegal. It's 2 wins out of 4 so far, and we can only see them pushing on, and it's going to be good for them come championship to have these players getting baptism like that again, in front of a big crowd against the All-Ireland champions. It's looking up.
Yeah, I saw a kind of dress rehearsal too for the championship, like the men's, and of course Galway, who Mayo will be facing again, and Galway had a win themselves yesterday in Division 1 against Kerry, so they're back on winning ways as well. Just quickly to mention on the Alliance Football League, we mentioned Galway, of course, and their fine win. In Division 2, Roscommon had a big win over Louth, 121 to 12 points yesterday as well. Sligo, though, losing out by 6 to Westmeath in Division 3, so not a good result for the Eightsmen yesterday. They'll hope to dust themselves down and get back to winning ways, because they won't want to slip further down. There's 2 teams below them, but they'll want to kind of win the next day to avoid possible relegation. Now we're going to switch our attention to that Alliance Hurling League Division 2B clash, where Mayo booked their place into the league final. A fine win over Wicklow, 122 to 216 yesterday in James Stephens Park, Ballina. You were there along with Tom Carney and Frank Brown and all the crew, and it was a great spectacle, a great game.
It was a great game. It was a high scoring game. It was right down to the wire really. Wicklow really put it up to Mayo, sending off with about 10 minutes left. Gave Mayo that added impetus, and they managed to kick on towards the end. Some absolutely massive points. You can see a couple here. Corey Scahill getting the crowning point, but Kenny Feeney was really on form with frees. Keith Higgins absolutely masterful on his birthday. Someone said it was I think 37th or 38th, but can't confirm that one now on Zippy. But he was absolutely brilliant, as he has been all season for Mayo hurlers. You'd love to see him back with the footballers, but he's really enjoying his time with the hurlers right now.
He's enjoying his hurling, and they're flying high, unbeaten. Down now next, they're up and down, as they say, next weekend. That's just, I suppose, it's kind of a game that has to be played to get the formalities out of the way. It's a dress rehearsal ahead of the actual league final on Mother's Day, March 11th.
Yeah, and we'll go to the interview Tom Carney, our match commentator, did with Derek in a second, but he sprung on him the result that Down had been beaten by Donegal, thus confirming that Mayo are definitely into that league final where they will face Down. It's a dress rehearsal this weekend. But Derek, as you can see from the video now, was very pleased with today's result.
Fantastic team performance, dug deep again.
Yeah, we're starting to build a bit of character. We knew today was going to be a good test for us. Came up second best against Wicklow last year, so look, we knew it was going to be a benchmark for us to come up this year, and look, we're delighted with the result at the end.
Team performance again, but back to front, players performed very well.
Yeah, look, that's what we said our team is a hard-working team. Like, you know, we're not as big as most teams we're playing with physically, so look, we have to work harder than them, and that's what we set out to do at the beginning.
The experience of the last day out, coming back from such a deficit and being behind against Wicklow, the red card obviously had an impact, rightly a red card, but the players responded in the right way.
Yeah, well, look, I said after an interview after the Derry game that the team is starting to build a bit of character, and look, you could see it there in the second half today. We dug very deep now to beat a good Wicklow team, like I thought they were. So yeah, look, we are building character. We're on an upward curve at the minute. So
the result, obviously, you probably heard Donegal beat Down by 3 points. We break that news to you. So and another reason to smile today was 17-14. It was 10-5 at half time, I think was the score. But going to Down the next day, will we see squad rotation give other players a chance? I know I just dropped that result on you, but we wouldn't want to give too much away coming up to a league final.
No, I suppose, look, we're missing a few anyway next weekend. We knew that before today. To be honest, you asked me, we haven't even thought about it. Look, we came here today with just to perform against Wicklow. We didn't even think about next weekend. We have no plans for next weekend. But look, we'll meet after probably tomorrow evening and Wednesday evening again, and we'll sit down and think, see who's available to us. But look, I'm sure there'll be a little bit of rotation. We're not going to want to show our full hand against Down if we're going to play in the league final. 4
wins from 4, big turnaround from last year. 1 win only, managed to avoid relegation last year against Roscommon. What do you put that down to?
It's all down to the players. At the beginning of the year when we came in December, our first goal was to try and get 30 best hurlers in Mayo that we could and get them to give us a commitment. And look, they've done that in spades. We have, I think we have all the best hurlers in Mayo at the minute, and they're working their socks off at the minute. Like, we're training really hard during the week as well, so they're digging deep out there to put in a full 70 minutes, and look, it's all down to the players.
In commentary, Frank and I were discussing the evolution of Mayo hurling, and it is an evolution. The Nicky Racker's success back in 2016, the way that Ballyhonus and Turin have performed over the last year and this year particularly, has raised the level of Mayo hurling in the county and the profile of hurling.
Yeah, we're blessed at the minute to just have a good bunch of players. Like we're picking from 3 clubs at the minute. Unfortunately, we had Westport lads in the beginning there, but they just couldn't give the commitment. So look, we're only picking from 3 clubs. Like it's unbelievable what the players are doing. Like, from 3 clubs to be into a league final now. And
a couple of clubs known for their rivalries as well. It's good to manage that situation. I'm sure training is interesting at times.
No. The boys, they get on the best. Like, when they go back to their clubs, they have to. That's different. But look, when we're at Mayo, they're at Mayo. Like, and we're just as much a team as Ballyhonus are, or Turin are, or Castlebar. Look, we're a team.
At the start of the year, could you have foreseen how the team have developed and how they've the style of play that they've come to be known for? It's an attacking style of play. They're not prepared to sit back anymore and try and play counter-attack. They're trying to take the game to teams, and that's been the way that you've kind of set the team up from the start.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, we've purposely done that. Like last year we were playing sweepers, and we were trying to hit teams in the counter-attack. Or this year, no, we've changed a bit. We're trying to take on teams more. Look, we think we're well able to, and results have proven that we are.
So, Derek, obviously a happy man there, and he will be looking forward to giving a run out to his whole panel. As he said, there's some changes down the line anyways, never mind the fact that they got that result and the down result went in their favour as well. He was going to look at a few changes nonetheless. So it's a bright time for Mayo hurling. And hopefully they continue with their 100% record.
Yeah.
Now we will just move to some of the divisional cups. It's GA time for clubs as well already.
Hard to believe that time again, smack bang in the middle of it all. So it's going to be exciting because, of course, when the league and all that's starting a bit earlier, championship starting earlier this year. So now we have the Centenary Cups, your Sweeney Cups, your O'Mara Cups, Kelly Cups, all of those have swung round.
Yeah, and as you say, they take on a bit more importance now with the fact that the league is starting at the end of this month and Championship is coming at the very beginning of April, so a lot of teams are trying to hit the ground running, and as you said, those results now, the O'Mara Cup Group 1, the Neil 1-4, Davids 3-11, Kelly Cup Group 1, Ballintubber 12 points, Brafey 9, Kelly Cup Group 2, Island Eady 2-4, Burshul 16 points, Park Kilos Cremlin 1-8, Lewisburg 12 points, Group 3, Kilmena Ackle was postponed, Centenary Cup Group 1, Kilmovee Shamrocks 5 points, Balhadreen 4-17, Kilchmaw 1-7, Swinford 7 points, Centenary Cup Group 2, Boholmai Davids 1-6, Ahamore 1-9, Sweeney Cup Group 1, Bonnyconlin 2-8, Belmullet 3-15. I myself came on in that game and contributed very little, but moving on swiftly, Lahardon 1-7, Ardnary 4-12, Sweeney Cup Group 2, Crossmalina 11 points, Knockmore 5-11, Kiltane 2-4, Ballina Steve Knights 2-9.
Great stuff, and more of that action of course this weekend as well to look forward to there in those various Mayo Divisional Cups. So we switch our attention now to soccer. It's not long to go, Cormac, until the Ellery Sports Super League and all the Mayo League games supposed roll into town. I know there's the Masters Cup final actually coming up this weekend as well to look forward to. But in relation to underage soccer, there was a fair bit on the weekend, and Mayo, they got the better of Midlands League in the under 15 National Plate final. It finished scoreless after full time, and then in extra time it went to penalties after that. Mayo won it 4-2. John Vahy was influential for Mayo between the sticks, so well done to young John there as well. And that Mayo team as well is worth mentioning, of course. It was a real young team. It was predominantly the Kennedy Cup team that was on the under 15 team, so a great feat for them. Mayo lost Kilkenny by 1-0 in the Subway under 16 Interleague. Elsewhere in the FAI New Balance Youth Interleague, Mayo beat Donegal by 2-0, and a result in from the girls under 16 Cup, Kilchman Knock getting the better of Ballinroe by 5-3. Rugby, well, there was a fair bit of excitement, Cormac, as well the weekend. Bellna are flying high, they really are. In Connacht Junior 1, they beat Buccaneers 54-12. Connemara got the better of Westport 24-5. And then in the Connacht Junior Group 2, Ballinrobe 21-18 victors over Carb. That's another fine win for Ballinrobe to beat Craigs the week before that.
Yeah, and as you said, you mentioned there Ballina flying, you know, they really are going away from home and getting a big result like that. They're scoring plenty of tries, and they are one of the form teams in club rugby at the moment.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's reaching the climax of the season as well, so there's a lot to look forward to with the various rugby campaigns going on right now.
Yes, indeed. And of course the boxing is what we finish with, because Shannon Sweeney from St. Anne's Boxing Club had great success the weekend. She won the National Elite Championships 48 kg title. She beat Carol Coughlin of Monkstown 3-2, so well done to you, Shannon, on that great achievement. Elsewhere, Lisa Brown from Aglish lost out to Nell Fox, and Kira Ginty from Gisala lost out as well to Grania Walsh of the Spartacus Club, and Aoife O'Rourke from Castlereagh, she had a walkover in her 81 kg bout as well. So lots happening in the world of boxing at the weekend as well, so there you have it.
Yeah, lots happening in the world of boxing, lots to come in the next week as well. As you said, we'll be in Newbridge. It's a nice little ground. It's a tight little ground. It'll be a great atmosphere. Looking forward to that one now next Sunday as Mayo go head to head with the Lily Whites. So stay tuned to Midwest Radio, all our social media channels at Radio Midwest on Facebook and Twitter, our YouTube as well, as for all the action, all the interviews, all that's happening in sport, and our website www.midwestradio.ie for all your latest happenings in sport in the region.
Exactly, and be careful, mind yourselves from that beast from the east.